The seventh level is normative. You will hear this word called as normative, prescriptive or non-normative, etc. So what is normative? Normative means that this particular standard is normalized and has been accepted by many people. Lower levels is prescriptive. Prescriptive in the sense is that the standard suggests that this is the way how you can use at the lower level protocols. For example, when the data is sent over TCP/IP, which is more of a presentation layer, it says to use the MLLP protocol. TCP/IP MLLP protocol, which refers to as minimal level layer protocol. So what does this say? It says that, above the message, you will wrap it with certain characters to identify the header. So within the header there may be some amount of information, and then you have the body of the message itself. And then you have the footer. Within the footer you also can have some amount of information. And then you will have to have a special character which specifies that the message has ended. Now, this is the MLLP concept within TCP/IP. It says that you could use it this particular way. And when it comes to security, it says that you could securitize using certain parameters within the MLLP. Now again, this is prescription. It is prescriptive. It says that you could use it. But whereas in normative it says that you have to use it, now you will see some of the normative specifications in the further slides. Remember, it is on 7th layer. Now there are certain assumptions when the standard assumes from the communication environment. 1. The lower level protocols will ensure that there is error-free transmission. Whatever is transmitted by the source application will be received as is by the destination application. And it will be received in the exact sequence. So the sequencing, everything etc. has to be taken care by the lower level protocols. Second is character conversion. The actual data may be transmitted in a different format. Let us say, the most common format that is readable to human beings is called as a SCI format, where it has a value 65. But when you transmit it, whether it is used, how it is transmitted in terms of character encoding, so on and so forth, it does not specify, it does not care. It says that the character conversion and reconversion back into what it was original is taken care. One more thing is if two machines are exchanging data using a different representation of the same character set, then the communication environment or the underlying layers will convert the data from one representation to another representation. Let us take a simpler example for us to understand. Today we operate 64-bit machines. So our operating system and our storage etc. is 64-bit. But there are still systems which work on the 32-bit architecture. If you look at Windows 98 and Windows 2000, etc., it was very common for us to have 32-bit machines. So the underlying OSI layer should take care of this conversion from 32-bit to 64-bit and vice versa. The third one is arbitrary message length, or in other words HL7. does not set any limit to on the maximum size of HL7 messages. The standard assumes that the communication environment can transport an arbitrary size of message. But, however, in actual practice, there is usually an agreement between the sending systems and the receiving systems of what is the maximum length that could be sent. Also, there are certain prescriptions. There are some upper bound in terms of sizes of fields, so on and so forth. We will understand that in a little bit later, in a little bit time. So, in brief, within communication you have to understand, 7th level is normative, lower levels are prescriptive. Standards will assume error-free. HL7 standard assumes error-free transmission, character conversion and arbitrary length to be done by the lower layers within the OSI environment. Now, this has been a lot of theory. Let us now try to analyze our first message. I remember showing you something like this, right? In the previous session. Yes. Right. So this is an example of a message. So what is a message? A message is an atomic unit of data that is transferred from one system to another system. Before I go on to the next slide, can I kind of guess some of the data just by looking at it? MRN number is 04081729. Super! Patient name is Ronald. Ronald. Yeah. Bates Ronald. Bates Ronald. Bates Ronald. Bates Ronald. Okay. And anything. Allergy is allergy. One is he has allergy to penicillin, I suppose. And then and next allergy is CAD. I suppose he is allergic to cans. CAD standard. Okay. Yeah, CAD standard. And diagnosis is neoplasm of liver primary. That is the primary diagnosis. And the last two. I am unable to guess the last two. Yeah. But it is wonderful that you are able to guess so much. Thank you. Okay. If I say this is a date, you can see my mouse cursor. Yeah. This information. Yeah, date of birth. Is it date of birth and gender? Yeah, okay, super. So what is the date of birth of this person? 6 June 1974. So 6 July 1974. Yeah, 1974. And here you said his gender. Yeah, female. Right. So this is all what you require for the basics to understand. But this information has a particular hierarchy and has certain rules. So these rules is called as a message framework. The message framework defines the constituents of message and provides methodology for defining abstract messages that is used in later chapters. Okay, and also there is something called as message construction rules, which forms as part of message framework. So message framework, message construction rules is something that you can read within the standard itself. But let us try to understand this message a little bit more.